So the other day I did a pretty brave thing, and I made a phone call to a podcast, an advice podcast, asking a question. Now, I don't know if this advice podcast that I've been listening to for the last like 3 or 4 days. It's called "Don't Blame Me." It's a video podcast on Megan Rank's channel, and it's also a listen podcast on iTunes. If you don't have any of those, I think it's on some other places you can find it, but you can Google the phone number on Google, and it's the podcast called "Don't Blame Me." So I called in on Saturday, right around midday, or around 2 o'clock ish in the afternoon, and I left a voicemail for her to answer a question I had, but I don't know if she's going to answer it today. If she does, I'll make a whole video about it tonight. But if she doesn't, I wanted to get your guys's, I've been talking to a couple of friends about like calling back in a couple months and retrying to answer the question that I had asked her. I'm not going to divulge any of the information I said in that voicemail, but it was basically about God's plan for me. And I know it sounds kind of odd I may have mentioned this in that video 2 days ago, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I want to see what she says. And if she doesn't say anything, we're going to call back in a couple months and see if she'll answer then with like 10 callers that I have, that 10 friends of mine that could call in and ask the same question. I know we're going to have different versions of the question, but I'm going to call back in a couple months and see if that works. Because I'm going to be 30 in a couple months, like 72, 71 days or something like that now. But I wanted to tell you guys that if you wanted to listen to the podcast and see if my message made it, you can go to Megan Rank's YouTube channel, or you can go to iTunes and type in "Don't Blame Me," and I think it's episode, I'm not sure which episode it is, but it's today's episode of the podcast. But I won't know until like noon or noon when that episode airs. So I'll fill you in tonight right after dinner and let you guys know what happened. If it didn't happen, we're going to work on some sort of a way to ask her again in a couple months when I turn 30. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys like a little heads up of what I did on Saturday afternoon about calling in, telling her my scenario, how old I am, and God's plan for me, and this whole YouTube game and stuff like that. So I thought I'd just like give you a little insight of what it could be like to be on a podcast, even though it's just a voicemail. I don't know if she'll, hear it or anything like that. I did leave 2 voicemails actually. The first one I told her to disregard it, and hopefully Melissa, the associate producer, I believe that's her title, or she's actually a producer now. I'm not sure what her title is at the podcast, but if I do have it, if she does listen to the voicemail and it goes into her video and in her thing, I will definitely talk about it, and hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, I'm going to try again and right around my birthday and see what happens then. But I will see you guys tomorrow, or later today with the brand spanking new vlog. You guys know the drill. Keep it all. Bye bye.